Okay. What are some signs that we're in a bad relationship? Well, first of all, let's do the premise. The premise is if we get in a relationship, we want it to be good for us first. And then obviously for the other person, we want it to be good for them as well, right? Most of us at least, right? So we get into a relationship. It's good at first, right? Why? Why is the relationship always good at first? Because everybody's on their best behavior in the beginning, right? Everybody's on their best behavior. The girl, she's so sweet. The guy, he's so helpful. But after a while, the stuff wears off. The real person comes out. The real person comes out. How they really are comes out. Now, the question is, when does it get to the point where it becomes what they call toxic, or it becomes where it's a bad relationship? How do you know you're in a bad relationship? How do you know? What are some signs that you can see that you're in a bad relationship? Let me just take a look at something real quick here. I'm gonna take a look at something real quick here, and I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna give you guys some clues so you can know when you in a bad relationship. Before I do that, Sister Wana, when you start to feel bad when you think of them, that's when you're in a bad relationship. That could be one thing. That could be one thing in particular. With Petway Boy, salute to you, sir. Salute to you, sir. Good to see you in the building. The salute to everybody in the chat that's in the building. Let me give y'all some reasons, some ways to notice that you're in a bad relationship. There's constant criticism. Number one, there's constant criticism. Constant criticism is the indication that feelings of love and warmth for each other are being replaced by judgment. When you're constantly criticizing each other, that's not a good sign, according to licensed therapists. What do you think? When you constantly going to somebody, or they constantly criticizing you, right? As a man, the woman is constantly telling you, man, you're not paying the bills around here. You're not taking care of business around here. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. Right? As a woman, man is constantly telling you, you know what, you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. Not in a way to encourage you to be healthier, but in a way telling you just to nag you, just to create stress for you the way they're doing it, right? Is that right? Constant criticism. That's one way of knowing that you're in a bad relationship. Number two, your relationship has become sexless. You're in a sexless relationship. I mean, zero, right? Another sign of unhappy marriage is virtually non-existent sex life. Or when you do have sex, on the rare occasion, it's not great. Of course, not having sex all the time isn't a necessarily bad thing, and some couples don't mind a sexless relationship. Ay. It's not so much about how often married couples have sex, rather it's about whether you enjoy the sex with your spouse and feel good with your shared sex life. So I think this is a little high on the list. It should be a lot lower on the list. But yeah, if your relationship becomes sexless, that is definitely going to be a problem. See, all of these things are symptoms. See, these are symptoms. And we're going to get into actual real things that's actually going on. But these are symptoms that you have a problem. And if you don't deal with it, it may not go away. It may not improve. Because a lot of people, what they like to do is they like to put their head in the sand and not address it. But you got to address these things. If you have a sexless marriage, instead of saying to yourself, this person just don't want to have sex with me, we need to be saying, why doesn't this person want to have sex? That's the right question to ask. Why? Why doesn't this one person is interested in having sex with me, and what can I do about it? But instead, we got so much ego and pride. We just say, oh, they just trying to not have sex with me. Maybe something in your behavior is making this person not feel sexual in your presence. So, but we don't do the math. See, I do the math, man. I'm a mathematician. I do the math. I just try to add it up. The question ain't, she's being evil to me. That's why she's holding back sex. She may not be aroused by you anymore because of the way you communicating with her or him, right? Men, let me tell y'all something, women. There's nothing that could turn a man off faster than a domineering woman. Yeah, he'll want to have sex with you for a while, but after a while, years of being with a domineering woman, nothing will turn a man off or make him less interested in sexual experience, because men want to dominate in a sexual experience. We have a natural instinct. We want to dominate in a sexual experience. And if you're already telling me you're going to dominate me, then I'm not going to be sexual with you. I may have these assets wrapped up with you or children wrapped up in you, but I don't want to be in a sexual relationship with you because you're trying to dominate me as a man. Woo! Another one right over y'all's heads. Let's continue the list. Let's continue my list because I got a lot to get to. Number 3, you struggle to spend time together. Being around each other may feel like a chore or extremely forced without the sense of intimacy that once was there. You may feel like you have nothing to say and also don't really care what they have to say. That's another one. So now you're struggling to spend time with this person, right? You're struggling to spend time with them. It's not a good experience anymore. Used to be you couldn't wait to get off of work to go spend time with them, or you couldn't wait to, meet up with them at the house, right? You gonna get off work, he gonna get off work, and y'all gonna meet at the house, or y'all gonna meet at a little restaurant to enjoy a meal together. Now you guys can't stand each other, right? And it might not even be at the point where you can't stand each other. You just don't want to be in the presence of this person because of their behavior, right? Because of the way they are. I was dating a girl one time, and man, she was so negative. She was so negative, man. And I still was this is my younger days, man, when I was still trying to make a situation work. I was still trying to make the situation work. And this girl, everything I said to her, she had a negative response for it. Hey, I think I'm gonna go to college for this. Why? That don't make no sense. You shouldn't do that. I mean, everything I said to her, not everything, but generally things I said to her, she just would have a negative response. I mean, luckily for me, she dumped me because I was working hard to try to make a relationship work with this lady. I felt like if I can just show her how much I was in a Will Smith mentality. If I could just show her how much punishment I can take from her, she will see that as endearing. That will endear her to me. That will endear me to her. And she will say, wow, he was willing to put up with all that punishment from me. I want to be in a relationship with him. That's attractive to me. No, in fact, it is not attractive. Peace, Sister Enya. Peace. Good to see you. Yeah, that doesn't endear. And to most women, when you act like that, when you show all that weakness, and that you don't have enough self worth for yourself to stand up for yourself, most women, that turns a lot of women off. Will Smith doesn't pick that up. I didn't pick it up either. I eventually got dumped by this sister. Best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. Moving on. Number 4. We're going through the reasons how you can recognize that your relationship is bad. Wait, before I do that, Sister Wanda, you got something. Sister Wanda, a lot of times there are critical or negative because they want out, but they won't admit it. Yes, yes, that was true. And she wanted out. I mean, that I got to give her credit. She did so many things to let me know that she did not want to stay in a relationship with me. Instead of just saying, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. She wanted me to do her dirty work for her. But all she had to do was say, hey, I don't want to be in a relationship with her. She kept making it seem like she wanted to be in a relationship with me verbally. But then she would do things that clearly a normal person, I wasn't a normal person. So a normal thinking person would have been like, this person don't want to be with me. They never call me. They never check on me. They never contact me. I have to call them. I have to chase them down. This is crazy, right? And then they only want to be on the phone for a minute, and then they done. I mean, it's like it was crazy, right? But a normal person would have said, "Oh, okay." See me now, I would have kicked her behind straight through the uprights. I mean, just you don't answer my phone calls, and all you gotta do that is once or twice. Boom, gone. It wouldn't even be a question. But I was in the Will Smith mentality at the time where I think that, hey, if I let this girl punish me enough, then she'll see that I really love her because I allowed her to punish me. And women don't see that way. And women see it like you not even strong enough to stand up for yourself to me. What's going to happen when when a dude comes along trying to take me away from you? You ain't even going to stand up for yourself then. That's unattractive to most women. But let's get back to our list. Thank you, Sister Juana. Let's get back to our list. Number 4, you stop sharing wins with each other. When something exciting happens, who's the first one you call? If it was once your spouse and now it's a friend or a family member, that's a sign your marriage has taken a hit or relationship has taken a hit. Unhappy marriages, there isn't much motivation to connect or share anything. In unhappy relationships, there isn't much motivation to connect or share anything with the other partner, right? So these are little things. This is stuff that happens a couple of years before the actual blow up, before the actual you drive up and there's a dude's car in your driveway. This is the stuff that happens a couple of years before that. Let's move on down our list. You're both defensive. Counselors note that consistent defensiveness is a sure sign that the two of you aren't communicating well. Going hand in hand with the constant criticism, simple statements or questions can also be met with backlash. For example, when one partner reminds the other to do a chore, they may get defensive and say something along the lines of, I already said I was going to do it. Don't guilt trip me. Right? So you're in a relationship with somebody and everything you guys say to each other turns into a brawl, right? But that's letting you know, man, you got a problem. You got a problem. There's a problem in paradise, and you better fix it. Now, the good thing is a lot of this stuff you can fix. A lot of the stuff you can just but see, here's the thing. Here's the kicker on all of this. Both people have to be just as motivated to fix it. You can't have one person that just says, I want to fix this. And then the other person say, that it don't matter to me whether we fix it or not. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Both people have to have the motivation to want to make this thing work. So, and what I mean by that is you can't sell another person on making a relationship that they don't want to be in work. You can't sell that person. The person got to the point where they don't feel the relationship is working for them. They can't be sold on, you can just do it this way. No, you can't sell them. That either they want to do it, either they got their internal reasons why they want to do it, or you got to figure out what you're going to do your next move. And we're going to talk about that later. Let's continue. Number 6, you avoid each other as much as you can. Oh, man. Counselors say that generally avoiding each other is also relatively obvious signs that things are not going well. You'll likely make separate plans and have no motivation to spend time together, all of which point to an unhappy marriage or relationship. Yeah, first you guys couldn't stand to be with, oh, I love you, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up, you hang up. And you do that for an hour, right? You hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up, and you guys can't, you guys are that couple that everybody is cringing at the table at the restaurant, right? Hi, honey bun, honey lamb. You're my snuggle buffins, and so everybody's like, man, God, hey, right? But they understand you in the beginning stages of your relationship. But then it gets to the point where, man, I don't even want to be around this chick. She doesn't make me feel good. She shoots down all my ideas. She's always telling me how fat I am. She's always telling me how skinny I am. She's always telling me talking about how people in her life were, better. Her family told her that she shouldn't have married me, or she shouldn't have gotten a relationship with me. How do you want to be with somebody like that? That's always constantly presenting an issue to you. They don't say, hey, baby, how you doing? I just want to know how you doing. You not doing well? Okay, what can I do to help you in that situation? But most people are so selfish that they don't think about it that way. They think about it like this: I hate that person. It get to the point where I don't want to be around them, and then get to the point where I hate them. We don't get to that. We'll get to that. Number 7. You daydream about leaving. Ay, ay, ay. It's entirely possible that fantasies of leaving or being single will start to pop in your head. You're becoming aware of the issues facing your marriage and how the marriage makes you feel, and it is inevitably causing you to think of other possibilities. So you got somebody in your life, man, and they're not the ish no more. They're not the ish no more. You're trying to be with them, and you're trying to work it out, but it's just not working. And now you're getting to the point where you daydream. You know what, man? If I could get her to not dig into my retirement, I would be gone. I told you guys about that LA sheriff that I knew about, that he just 29 years. Man comes home, tells his wife of 29 years, hey, and it was the day the boy graduated high school and had all this stuff set for college. The last boy get out of the house, he comes in and he says, I got a girlfriend. And I'm moving in with her. I'm out. You don't know. There ain't no guarantee. A lot of y'all think, man, when you get married, there's a guarantee, right? Go look on that marriage certificate. It doesn't say guarantee nowhere on that marriage certificate. Nowhere does it say guarantee. This is a guarantee that you're gonna be together forever. The word guarantee is not even on the paperwork. There are no guarantees in life. You could be married to somebody for 20, 30 years. They could walk in the house and say, I'm done. Especially when they're empty nesting. I'm done. I've been putting up with your stuff just to get these children into college. I'm done. The man, usually it's the man that's hit on the blind side, like, what? I thought things was great. Didn't see all of this other stuff I've been telling y'all about. He didn't see it. The woman was avoiding him, being defensive. He just got used to it. It's like Will Smith. If we're going to get into Will Smith, he got used to being treated other than good. He got used to it. So it wasn't even a big deal for her to disrespect him or mistreat him. He got used to that. And we got to the point where that became the normal way their relationship flowed, for her to mistreat him like that. Whoop, another one. Another one. Let's get back to our list, y'all. Number 8, we're talking about the reasons why, how you can tell, some of the reasons you can tell that your relationship is bad, it's on its way to a place. We're not talking about the blow up, the ultimate blow up that usually happens in most relationships. We talking about these are breadcrumbs you can see along the way, and if you got your eyes open, you can start doing something about it to correct them. Right? We'll talk about that as well. Number 8, there's an anxious versus avoidance attachment dynamic. Something that these counselors frequently notice is a clash of attachment styles. There's a spectrum of people who are pursuers, who are kind of boundaryless and get their self-esteem from how the other person feels about them. And then there are withdrawers, conflict avoiders that don't want to talk about issues. In these scenarios, they're often a cycle of one pursuing and the other withdrawing, only to cause more subsequent pursuing and withdrawing. That is just, to me, it's just people trying to give each other stress. You get to a point where you get so resentful, you just try to start giving the other person a lot of stress, right? I know this topic is going to give her stress. Let me bring it up now. See if she's going to address it now. I know she ain't going to address it, but let me bring up her weight now. You know what I mean? Or same thing with the woman. I know he ain't going to address the income situation, but let me bring it up now, right? And we just chase each other around the mulberry bush, causing problems for each other. It's absolutely insane. But a lot of stuff y'all need to know when you got problems so that you can address it. See, half of the situation is just knowing you got a problem. The other half is actually addressing it. Sister Wanda, Will Smith needs to leave because eventually Jada is going to send him a text for divorce, and then Will is going to really be hurt and messed up. Let me tell you something, Sister Wanda. Jada Smith is not going nowhere. If anybody's going to divorce anybody, he's going to have to divorce her. She's not going anywhere. She's not going to leave those mansions. She's not going to leave them big cars. She's not going to leave none of that stuff. She'll never, ever do anywhere close to Will Smith if she walks out of that situation. She's smart enough to know that. So she's not going anywhere. She's just going to continue to mistreat him. He's the one that's going to have to divorce her if he wants this kind of behavior to stop. But he's so beat down, he doesn't even realize how bad the situation is. And I'm sure she has isolated him from people that could actually break it down to him. She has isolated him from those people. So he doesn't even know how bad the situation is. It's like Kanye West. He doesn't even know, he doesn't realize how bad he's making himself look. But Petway boy, he better leave. He should. But that's the only person that's going to leave this situation. She is not going to leave. She'll never do better than Will Smith ever again. She'll never get nowhere close to that. The only way the only thing that's going to happen is this is going to progressively get to a point where he's going to end up in the hospital or something, just having a nervous breakdown if he lets it continue. Sister Wanda, she will get half of billions in a divorce settlement. Yes, she will get half of billions, but there won't be nobody to step on. And for her ego, she has to have a victim. She has to have a willing victim. Even with her with billions of dollars, half of billions of dollars, she would not be happy. Because what makes her happy is stepping on him. That's what makes her happy. If it didn't, she would have left a long time ago. Now, at this age, she's not in a position to do any better than Will Smith. That is the top. That's the glass ceiling for her. She better hold on with both hands. He is the one that needs to divorce her. He could give her $500 million. He can give her $500 million, take his $500 million and find a real woman that would actually treat him like a man. She'd be worth the $1 billion he had to pay Jada Pinkett to get with somebody who would really treat him like a man, but he don't know this. Jada Pinkett probably, I don't know for sure because I'm not in a relationship, but I'm assuming that she probably has isolated him from anybody who would actually give him some real good advice about how to deal with that situation. Anyway, moving on, y'all. Let's move on. Let's finish our list. We've got a couple more. Number 9, you feel more yourself. You feel more yourself when you're apart, right? When you first get together with your spouse, you're supposed to feel like they bring out the best in you, and like you are around, and like who you are around them. In an unhappy marriage or relationship, you'll feel more like yourself when you're not around them, and may even dislike who you are around them. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. You think Will Smith feels like he's a man when he's around her? Think he feels like he's a man when he's around her? You think he feels like better about himself when he's away from her? So why don't he just leave? Why doesn't Will Smith just leave? Because he's got a screw loose upstairs. And he doesn't want to walk away from her. And he, in his head, really has a weird attachment to her. It's a weird attachment where he feels like he can teach her to come to his if she would just get on his page, the relationship will work. But he doesn't have the sense to realize she ain't never gonna get on his page. Never. She'll never be on your page. But she keeps putting that carrot out there like, yeah, maybe one day I will get to your page. Maybe I'll get to your understanding. Yeah, at 80 years old, when nobody's going to chase after you no more. Yeah. But by that time, Will Smith will be beat down in the ground, luckily be alive if he is, because all of the stress that he got to deal with. I don't care. There ain't no man that's going to be okay with another man going up in his wife. There's just no, you can act like you are, you can say that you are, but if you're a real man, you're not going to be happy with that. Men are just too territorial. They just don't want nobody going up in their wife. There's just no way. But he has to put on this role and act like he's okay with that, because if not, she'll leave, and he feels like if she leaves, that's going to be a problem for him. For whatever reason, he's stuck there. Like I said, it's not he's not well mentally. He's got a unnatural attraction to her that supersedes his own self-preservation, and that's not good, in my opinion. You should never be attracted to somebody to the point where you're willing to let them mistreat you just to keep the relationship going. Just because on the strength that you would rather have them here in a relationship mistreating you than them be gone and have somebody else with them and them not mistreating you. That's crazy. But we all been there, right? I can't say that I ain't never been. We all been there. But the question is, once you recognize it, what you going to do? You got to move on. You got to move forward. The best thing that ever happened to me was that girl dumping me. I wasn't strong enough to dump her myself, but I was a young man. Will Smith is in his 50s. In your 50s, man, you're supposed to have a machete. Go do something wrong, one false move, whoosh, off with your head. Figuratively, I'm speaking. Oh. You ain't supposed to be putting up with stuff in your 50s. In your 50s? Really? That's why I don't recommend men in their 50s dating women in their 20s. Not unless not unless it's a very, very, very mature person. Very, very mature. But typically, no, man. Girls in their 20s are playing games. You need somebody who's understands what they're looking for and wants a good man in a life. And typically women in their 20s, they got so many options, they don't need to commit to nobody. They can't even recognize what a good man looks like because they got so many options. They can chase their desires, not the good options on the table. Petaway boy, yeah. Us black men have to start dumping women more. Yeah, well, we got the bad ones, brother. The bad ones, yeah. The bad ones. We gotta leave the bad ones alone. That's why I'm doing this stream, brother, so that you can recognize when you're in a bad situation and get out of it. Both men and women. Women need to learn how to get rid of guys that's bad. But I gotta give what's that dude that does the 5150 show? Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb. I don't always agree with everything he says, but he said something. I got to give him credit for it because it is a genius idea. If you want to get out of a relationship with a woman, you really want to get out of a relationship with a woman, and you don't want to just go in and just slam in and just say, I hate you, I don't want to be with you no more. You want to just break it off. Borrow money. Same thing with a woman. You want to break it off with some dude, borrow money and don't pay it back. Keep borrowing money and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Finally, the person will say, you know what? I can't even afford to be in a relationship with you. And then that will end almost any relationship. Borrowing money will end it. The continuous borrowing of money. All right, y'all, let's move on. Number 10, you stop arguing. You're not arguing anymore, roughly. Not arguing anymore, roughly translates to the two of you not being willing to work through things anymore. Arguing isn't great, obviously, but at least it means you're still fighting for something. Losing motivation to work through things with each other is a really bad sign. Yeah, so you stop fighting for stuff, right? Because you realize it's not gonna happen. You stop fighting for stuff. Hey, I want you to lose weight because I feel like you would be more healthier if you did. And you keep saying it to her, but she keeps taking offense to it. Finally, you just say, hey, I'm just not going to say anything. And unfortunately, she get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until she might get to herself to a point where she's very unhealthy. Same thing with her. She keeps telling you, hey, brother, I think, maybe you need to get a second job just to catch some of these bills up. And he's like, I ain't get no second job. I ain't got to do that. We'll be all right. And she is smart enough. She got a degree. So she's smart enough to be able to do the math to realize you in a sinking ship. Something has to be done. So she don't even argue with you no more. She just go get another job. She just go get a job herself. So the man, unfortunately, will take that as undermining his authority. We so crazy out here, man. We are really crazy. But who is telling you this stuff? Who is telling you this stuff? See, you got to come away. You got to leave the kumbaya space, right? Where they don't talk about this stuff in depth like we do here. We give you facts and actual facts and biological facts, actual facts, mathematics that back up our position. You go out to the kumbaya space, what they're going to do? They're going to throw a scripture at you. They're going to throw how their personal experience at you. How's it going to help you? If you don't know how to interpret it, how's any of that going to help you? Most of them preach, don't teach. We teach here, not preach. We don't. There's a difference between teaching and preaching. What's the difference, Brother Clarence? What's the difference between teaching and preaching? Teaching is when you present the facts. You try to persuade somebody to do something based on the facts. Preaching is when you try to teach somebody and persuade them based on your personal preference. This is the way I see it. Therefore, this is the way you should see it. That's preaching. Teaching is, hey, let's add this all up. Let's add this up. What's your goal? Your goal to accomplish this? Okay, then this is what you need to do. I might throw a little personal situation in there every now and then, but only because it reinforces the mathematics. We teach from actual facts and mathematics here. This is the place where you come for truth. Like Brother Be Easy said, this is the truth. Oh man, what did he say? The truth zone. Brother Be Easy is gonna get me. This is the truth place where truth is gonna come. Truth is gonna come from here. We don't work in feelings. We don't work in, you don't see people coming on here caping for me. You got to go to other content creators and they caping for them. Oh, I just want to come on and say, your nuts are so big. I never seen somebody with nuts as big as you. Your nuts are so big. Thank you for letting me come on. Can I shout out my YouTube page? Yeah, okay. Hey, once again, your nuts are so big. Thank you for letting me come on. I mean, people come here, they don't do that. They give me my respect, but they know, you can tell I'm not the kind of guy you got to come on here and tell me how big my balls are. You don't got to do that. Come on if you want to come on. Get in the chat if you want to get in the chat. Learn something or teach me something. Some of y'all teach me stuff. Anyway, I'm trying to help y'all, man. I'm trying to help everybody in this space because people aren't talking about this stuff. This is where you're going to get the truth from me. You're going to get the truth from me. An in-depth truth from me. Not my feelings, I'm not here to cape for nobody. That's why I got to stay off of going onto these other people's live streams in the kumbaya space. Because in the kumbaya space, people come on caping for everybody. I'm not doing that. If you have me on your podcast, I'm going to be telling you the truth. I'm going to hit you with so much truth. But most of it, y'all, boom, goes right over their heads. I'm about 40 years. I'm about 50 or 40 years ahead of my time. But anyway, let's continue, y'all. Let's continue, y'all. Thanks to God, I am. This is a big one. Number 11. This is a big one. You're in denial about negative patterns, right? Whether you've been together for decades or you just been not being keen on the idea of divorce, accepting you're in an unhappy marriage or relationship can be difficult. Yes, that's where Will Smith is right now. He's finally in the place where he has to accept it. He cannot avoid it anymore. Now you're told the whole world how you guys are living. Everybody knows about it now. First it was in the back burner. Now everybody knows about it. Now you cannot avoid the situation no more. Can't be in denial no more. This can result in denial or an inability to recognize negative patterns. You think your wife sleeping with other men is a negative pattern? I would say I haven't attended MIT. I'm not in Mesa. I'm not a high IQ person, but I think I got enough sense to realize. I have enough sense to realize that your wife sleeping with other men while you know is a bad sign. that is what we call a negative pattern. Right? Ay. Consultants say, if you don't recognize this, it's going to be very difficult to improve your relationship. How you going to improve your relationship when you don't recognize that you're in a bad relationship? You can't prove it because you're in denial. You're in denial that it's a bad relationship. This is Will Smith. This is Kanye West. Guys are in bad situations. Kanye West right now is trying to get back with his wife. He's trying to put his family back together. His wife has moved on. Let me tell you something. It's not the same for women, but it is for men. The worst thing you can do if you really, unless this woman really, really loves you, the worst thing you can do is go back to a woman that you walked away from or she walked away from you. That's the worst mistake you can make because the average woman's not going to respect you anymore. Especially as she's in a relationship with some other man. Kim Kardashian is in a relationship with Pete Davidson. Now, I understand. That's just, Pete Davidson is just Mr. Right Now. She is not going to get no long-term situation with Pete Davidson. They just having a good time, quote unquote. So Kanye West is waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? But even if that other shoe drops with Pete Davidson, she's gonna probably go get another dude, a youngster. Shout out to Kim Kardashian. Go get them youngsters. Older women, we need y'all. Somebody has to teach these young guys what foreplay is about. How to take their time and stop jackhammering everything. Older women are great for that. Older women are the training wheels of manhood. Woo! There's another one. Older women are the training wheels of manhood. They teach you how to get your stroke together. They teach you how to, they teach you how to get your foreplay game together. They teach you how to get your talking game together. They teach you how to get your kissing game together. They teach you how to get your seduction game together. Seduction? I didn't know I could seduce a woman. Of course you can. Of course you can. Of course you as a man can seduce a woman. But typically women are able to seduce us more because we are more conditioned to be alert to sexual tension, which is what most women use to get men in relationships. They use high sexual tension, right? Woo woo, woo woo. Y'all gonna have to look at this on the replay so you can get all of this stuff, man, because I'm dropping them and y'all ain't catching them, man. All right, y'all, let's move on to number 12. There's no understanding or compassion. Does that describe Will Smith? Does that describe Kim Kardashian? Will Smith, Jada Smith. Does that describe Kim Kardashian? There is no understanding or compassion. Things like blame, judgment, and shaming will often take front stage in an unhappy marriage or relationship, leaving little to no room for understanding or compassion. So compassion goes out the window. Can we say compassion went out the window in the Will Smith's marriage? That lady has absolutely no compassion for him. And we're going to watch a video of them in a minute. We're going to see that she has zero compassion for him. Zero. Do you really want to be in a relationship where the woman or the man has zero compassion for you? See, we got to start vetting. See, but you know what the main problem with Will Smith was? He didn't vet this girl properly. He looked at her and he felt like, man, I'm sexually attracted to her. Therefore, we can make this work some kind of way. Right? Old folks call it lust, right? But I'm going to say a mathematical term. You're sexually attracted to her. Sexual attraction is high. But you can't build a relationship around sexual attraction. You can't. That's very dangerous to try to do. I'm going to build a relationship around sexual attraction? How are you going to do that? How is that going to make sense at all? It's probably not. It's probably not. But he did it. Same thing with Kanye West. He's sexually attracted to her. Her body count was an issue. It drove him crazy. It drove him off the cliff. But she has some other good qualities, and now he wants her back. Convoluted is not even the word that we can use. Let's finish all this so we can start helping some people get their relationship in check. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is a good one. Number 13. This is a good one. Body language changes. We can tell a lot from body language, and it's usually not too hard to read when you know what to look for. Very basically, you and your spouse may always angle yourselves away from each other. Holy smokes. Even when speaking, you may cross your arms or put your hands on your hips a lot in a dominating or defensive manner. Ay, ay, ay. Jada Pinkett does that a lot. I don't know if Kim Kardashian does, but Jada Pinkett does those things a lot. Not a good. Will Smith is not in a good place. If any of Will Smith's people are listening, have him holler at me. Have him holler at me. I don't have a dog in the fight, and I can just tell him straight out, this is what you need to do to correct the situation, or you just need to leave. That's the bottom line of that. But you know what they'll do? They'll go to TD Jakes or go to Creflo Dollar or one of these guys, or Steve Harvey or one of these guys. They won't get the real truth. They'll get some kumbaya information, but not get the real truth. I'm gonna give you the real truth. I'm gonna give you the real truth, and your relationship will be 1,000 times better if you hear the truth and you act on the truth. All right, let's get to our list. Number 14. It feels physically wrong to be together. Ay, ay, ay. It feels physically wrong being together. Holy smokes. Being in each other's presence is no longer warm and joyful, and instead likely feels cold, awkward, and uncomfortable. Holy smokes. Do you see that when you see Will Smith and his wife together? It looks like it looks like an orangutan in a fish tank. It just looks so crazy when you see them together. They don't even look like they even, well, she doesn't look like she likes him. He looks very subservient. And he looks like he doesn't realize how bad of a situation he's in. And not to beat up on him. We've all been there. So it's not like I'm saying this to say, I ain't know you. I always been, I always had a handle on everything. No, I haven't. How do you think I got this information? I ain't get this information I'm giving out from no school book. This is 32 years of bumps on this head here. And even more. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. The question is, do you want to listen? Do you want to listen? You're gonna figure out your own way. Okay, figure out your own way. I'll meet you at when you are, especially the men, when you guys are out there paying all of this alimony and child support and then blaming the woman because you're paying all this child support, saying you got a baby mama terrorist, when I'm telling you up front, I'm showing you how you can separate yourself from a baby mama terrorist. You got to vet those women up front. You ain't even dealing with baby mama terrorists. The likelihood of you dealing with somebody like that is very low. But when you have an unprotected casual sex, premarital sex with lots of different women, your chances are gonna go through the roof. You ain't vetting all these women. But don't listen to me. Go listen to Fresh and Fit. Go pay $900 for the courses they selling you so they can tell you that you need to go out there, or Mr. Lucario, go pay $750 or $1,000 for one of his courses to tell you how to have game. Problem with game is there's going to be a winner and a loser. And you can't win every time. You're going to lose a lot more if you're not doing this thing right. Woo, 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 woo. But that's okay. That's okay. Y'all will come knocking on my door in about 5 years, 10 years, man. When you say, man, you was right, Brother Claire, you was right. I should have listened to you, but I chose to listen to Fresh and Fit and get all these notches on my belt. Now I got all this child support I'm paying. Now I got all this alimony I'm paying. I tried to tell you, brother. I tried to tell you. One thing, your blood is off my hands. That blood is off my hand. I tried to tell you. If you don't want to listen to me, cool. Go listen to all these other dudes. They'll tell you. But me personally, if I was going to take airplane lessons, if I was going to take airplane lessons, I would rather take airplane lessons from somebody who actually flew in a plane as opposed to people that's just tricking people into the plane and never getting them off the ground. That's me. But it depends on what your goals are. Woo! I'm telling y'all, man, you got to go back and look at the replay so y'all can get all this stuff. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, 15, here's another one that's bad. You feel contempt toward each other. What is contempt? It's when somebody just don't like you, man. They just don't have it for you, right? And they show it to you. Contempt is usually when they show it to you that they got contempt, right? Along with defensiveness and criticism, contempt is one of the 4 horsemen of relationships described by the Gottman Institute, one of the leaders in relationship research. Contempt is a kind of extreme disdain for another person akin to hatred and disgust. It's a lingering emotion that will make most encounters with your spouse unpleasant. Okay. So now you got contempt for this person, meaning that you, as soon as they walk in the room, you just get a scowl on your face, right? You can't get into it. Develops to a point where now it's not just, oh, I feel uncomfortable being around them. Now you're like actually got disdain for the person. And it's a negative, a wave of negative energy takes over you. How's that going to help your relationship? How's that going to help the relationship? I don't see too many people with contemptuous relationships doing well. Now, let me ask you a question. Does Jada Pinkett have contempt for Will Smith? The way I see it, she does. She's always showing him, not always, she is showing him contempt a lot of the times that I see her in the public working with him. Very contemptuous. And that's what we can see. Who knows how she's acting behind the scenes? I can guesstimate that it's not much better. People ain't going to treat you better in front of people than they are behind the scenes. They're usually going to treat you worse behind the scenes. So if she's treating him bad now in front of the public, how do you think she's treating him in those mansions? Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. You need to take a page from the Clintons. If you really want to stay together, take a page from the Clintons. You have your house, I have my house, and take a page from the Clintons. Woo, I didn't hear that one either. Okay, here's the last one. Number 16. Y'all stonewall each other. The 4th and final horseman is stonewalling. It essentially involves someone shutting down, particularly during conflict. Why would somebody shut down during conflict? Because you know somebody's not listening to you, right? They're not listening to you. Why are you going to continue to, your purpose, especially if you're kind of person like me, my purpose ain't to argue with you. I don't need that. I got enough self-esteem. I don't need to argue with no one. No one, not one person. If you want to argue, debate, different. That's a different thing. But argue where you hurling insults at me and I'm hurling insults at you, or you are all emotional when you're talking to me. I don't need to do that to another person. And you shouldn't either. If you really need to do that all the time, you should check your self-esteem and do something about your own self-esteem. We can't do anything about other people. You know what I mean? You're in a relationship with somebody, and you're in a relationship with a woman, and she doesn't want to lose weight. She don't want to lose weight. What can you do? You got to figure out your next move. She just doesn't. She don't see it as an issue. Okay, she don't. Same thing. You woman, you in a relationship with a man, and he won't get a job because you got two. He just don't see it the way you see it. But I love him. I got two of his children. I know you do, but I'm going to talk to y'all about escape plans. Sometimes you got to put together an escape plan. And it might take 2 or 3 years. It might take 4 years for your escape plan to come together, but you got to put an escape plan together. You cannot stay in a relationship and maintain mental stability in a bad relationship.